This is the LEGO Star Wars Clone Trooper and Battle Droid Battle Pack. This set has 215 pieces and will retail for $30 in the year 2024 and also comes with 9 whole minifigures. So hit that subscribe button for more early reviews and let's get into it. We're gonna start, of course, with the box art. It looks like it's taking place on the Battle of Christophsis field. You get a beautiful look at that battle. Even though these types of troopers may not be accurate to that particular battle, you do get those nice little ice blocks. You also get a look at all of the features and the neat little parts of this set. And of course, there's also the side box art with the little Octura Droid. And there is the 332nd Trooper at the bottom. And with that said, let's take a look at the instructions. So these guys are obviously nothing intense. There is the little clone trooper running on the bottom, which I find incredibly funny. And then there's the completed version of that. And then once you get to this is bag number 3. It goes up to 3 bags, which I was a little surprised by for how small it was. And you also have a look at the another set that's coming out next January. Now, I think the reason they come in two is so that way you could build them with a friend, and I think that's a great idea, but I think it's a little weirdly proportioned the way they divide it. Personally, I would have had all the droids with the Octura Droid and maybe the Stap in here as well, and then I would have had the clones in here, so it almost functions as 2 separate battle packs entirely, but I'll take it as is. It's pretty fine. Now our first minifigure is, of course, the plain white clone trooper. I believe one of the focal characters of this set. Now, you do get 3 of these guys, and they are absolutely excellent. They come with the standard clone trooper face, and I love that about them. And also, there are more weapons and accessories for them, but we will get into those as we go through the build. They are beautiful. If you are not a fan of helmet holes, they are not for you, but that is the last time I'm ever going to mention that helmet holes even exist in this video, because at this point it is a moot point and not worth bringing up. Beautiful printing front and back, nothing crazy. It's about what you'd expect for these particular characters. LEGO nailed it. Now, this is the Shock Trooper, and this is a great inclusion for the set. He does come with a set of binoculars and a small blaster pistol. Now, the reason this is such a great inclusion, other than the fact that it does also come with a standard clone head, is that we did get a Republic gunship that is Coruscant Guard-based within the very recent past, and now you can load it up with more than just the 2 that come in the set. You also have way more troops for Commander Fox to command. I hope this is also an indication that we will be getting more sets with 2 12 troopers because of the ATTE, but now you can get a full squad just between the 2 sets, and I think that is absolutely great, and we're going to be talking more about this set in a very brief moment. Because as a minor note, I think the binoculars specifically being attributed to the Shock Trooper is a reference to the old battle pack, which this set is largely based off of, and I think is very neat. Next up, we have the 2 battle droids unchanged as per usual, other than one minor change, and that is that there is a clip on the back of this battle droid, and that is largely so that way when he is on the Stap Speeder, which you'll see in a moment, he doesn't have to clip it in on to that build. He could just clip it on his back, which I find quite nice. Both battle droids are indeed epic as per usual. I love that we are getting them finally in a set in large quantities, along with our boys, the Super Battle Droids. Now, first I'll have you spot the difference between these. There are 2 different battle droids here. One of them is a more original one, and one of them is the newer one. The newer one is on the right, of course. So the older one, you'll notice there is a little like hole mark almost in the center near his stomach there. That is a mold mark. So when the molding machine is done, it usually picks a little area on the plastic to make a little slight imperfection. So with this, they were a little creative. They put the mold mark here. And for those who know what Super Battle Droids look like, they know that that is where the little red dot is on them, their little eyeball technically. and that is really cool. This one is a great version. It's obviously a little bit slimmer than the previous version of the Super Battle Droid, a little bit sturdier, and I think the main connection point, the issue with these guys is they were very well known for cracking, and I'll show you why. It's because they kind of just gave you too much room to work with, and they would clip off around here. I think the reason that they were able to perfect this one is in large part due to the fact that they made kind of like a braking mechanism. So if you like lean back the other one, it would kind of like give some leeway, but if you break back this one, it doesn't really do it, but if you really try for it, it'll just snap off. And of course, I forgot to mention, there are 3 of them, and here are their backs. They're not the most practical looking characters in the world, but they are definitely epic. Starting off with one of our smallest builds, it is a Stap Speeder. We saw these especially prominently in the Phantom Menace, and this is a blue variant. And it's perfect because we are able to clip in a battle droid, nice and dandy and snug, and he could drive around with his little Stap Speeder. Now, a couple little details we'll note on it. There are little megaphones for the engine type pieces. These are lightsaber pieces also for the guns. And the battle droid can technically hold his blaster and like shoot at the same time, but I don't know why you do that. And then there's just some nice detailing. It's very small, but it's very practical, and this is great for army builders. And I think it's a really good army building vehicle. And sticking with the droids, this is the Octura Droid. It comes with 3 legs and is quite a neat build and very, very flexible, as you can see. Now, the first notable feature, in my opinion, is obviously the legs. They're really interesting and articulate all the way like this. They can be like straight, and that's kind of neat. And it'll also help you, destroy them if you're a clone boy or whatever. Now, a neat thing that I like personally about it is this little thing with grenades. In the little set, there is included a box, and within this box, there is room for, they have 1 grenade, technically, but there are 2 pieces included in the instructions, so I am using both of those, and then walk him over, and he could come and attach it to the leg of the Tri-Droid. I'm going to call it the Tri-Droid, because Octura is too difficult. And like that, you have a full-on bombed-up droid. It's about to explode. It'll be epic, but let's see the rest of the features before we do that. There is a spinning cranium or head, and it is really cool. You could have it all the different angles. You could have Anakin go up there, maybe cut off the different guns, like in the Clone Wars season finale. And I was honestly kind of surprised they didn't base this pack off of that particular scene with the background on the box art. Either way, you can take off the little headpiece, and there is a little allusion to some sort of brain and with this little pink color. That was nowhere else in the set. It wasn't even reproduction. They were just having fun, I think, with the build, the little clear piece. And I like that a lot. I like it when the designers have fun. And finally, you do have a bit of an interesting system where usually they would attach the flick fires to the head that spins. This is attached to the legs that spin, I guess, when you have it off the ground. And the way that it works simply is you can just flick it like this, and they'll shoot. That was not a very intense shoot. I've seen better. There you go. Okay, that you get the general message, and you get 3 of those. If you think they look ugly, then honestly, like, the rest of the set isn't the most beautiful thing in the world, so I wouldn't fret about it that much because you're clearly not very details oriented. But if you don't want them, you could take them off and it'll look pretty cool. And the neat thing is, in universe, there are 2 versions of this particular vehicle in scale. There's a big one, which was the one Anakin took down, and there's a much, much smaller one that has been in the background of some shots in some movies. Now, here's probably the worst build, but potentially best build, and this is the little command station. It's not great. They give you some clips, and you can attach a little gun to this, but I think what people are missing about this is one crucial detail. You can simply just detach these like this. You have a couple things. First off, you have an entire area now to put your guns. You could have your troopers' guns, service them wherever you like. You also have this little stud shooter, which, shoots studs, is whatever. And you can load that back up just the same. And you also get 2 shield pieces, and I think a lot of people are missing that about this particular build. Clones use shields in the Clone Wars. They use them, and now you have one in Lego. Now, it might not be the best shield design ever, but it is a shield, and I think it is a massively overlooked part of the set not enough people have been calling attention to, and I think it is great. And then finally, we have a speeder bike. Now, this is a very, very simple build. It's bare bones. You get the feeling of a speeder bike. You can technically sit 2 people down, and that's nice. I have some issues with this personally, and I'll show you where. I always had an issue with these clips, but that's fine. That looks okay. When it gets to like the little back area, and I get they're trying to recreate the old one, it just feels super loose. And I get you're supposed to take these off and you're supposed to use them for your clones, but like this isn't practical. Like it pushes down way too easily. You could try, but like it's just very loose. Like look at that, it's like spinning. It shouldn't be doing that. Now, since this set and the Republic gunship are so closely tied together, I do want to show you some interesting details. There is the ability you have to load the speeder into the gunship. It is not a pretty look, but you can technically do it. Not with really a figure, because, you know, it's not great, and I don't think it was made for this, but there is some tiled room in the center of the gunship. Now, I think there's a very solid shot it was made to do something like this, because I always had wondered why there was no real, you know, room for standing. They could have just put studs here, just put minifigures. Now we very well may know the answer as to why. And it fits all right. It clips in, and it could stay like that, and you could put in any minifigure. I'm going to put in just a clone trooper just because. And I'd say it looks pretty solid. You don't notice it, and you'd still have plenty of room to put guys. And you can, again, technically, and it's very, very loose. Like, you need to take out the stud. It's not a great look, Bob. You can technically load this in and load it up, and it does fit, and it doesn't take up a ton of room, which is nice. You can fit it in there, but the real question is if you actually want to, and that is a question really you have to figure out for yourself. Now, I like this set combined with the other one a lot, but you know, it's a moot point. In conclusion, I'd say this is a fantastic value. For $30, you are getting a beautiful inclusion, especially when this eventually goes down to 21, 22, 24 even. It'll be a great value. You're getting the 4 clone troopers and 5 battle droids, 3 of which are super battle droids. Some great little builds that aren't necessarily super important, but nobody's buying this for the builds. You're buying it for the army builders and all of the cool little accessories that come with them. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I will give this set a 10 out of 10, which is, I think, the first time I've ever done that with a Lego set, other than maybe the 501st Battle. I don't even think I give that a 10. I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. It's just perfect. It gets everything that it needs to get done, and that's what I love about it. And it works with the gunship, which is even more perfect. And I'm so excited to get a bunch of them and load up my gunships, so now I don't have to buy a bunch of gunships. And white clones, first time ever. With that said, I will see you all in the next one. Hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed. Peace out, and stay awesome.